Welcome to the Mindset Connection podcast, and thank you for joining us for our 39th episode. Can you believe it? 39 episodes we've been doing. If you're new to us, welcome. We are your hosts, Jennifer Clearwaters and Cindy O'Connell. And in every episode, we showcase people doing amazing things in the field of mental health and wellness. And we are definitely doing that today. And we are doing a little bit of a different episode today because in this episode, we're talking about us. And we are bringing back our friend and colleague, Susan Tellone, who was a guest on episode 10. So if you haven't seen that, please go back and watch, and then you'll understand why we're so happy that she's back here with us. And we are going to be talking about our brand that we've developed called the Women of Wellness. So thank you, Susan, for being back with us. And Cindy is going to explain. If you haven't seen episode 10, Cindy's going to do a little bit of bio on Susan right now.
All right. So Susan is a highly accomplished certified school nurse and health educator with a master's degree in nursing and a bachelor's degree in mental health and rehabilitation. And she also worked as a psychiatric nurse for many years. That's how she started. Yep. So I can't imagine too many people choose that in their rotation or for their life work. But if you know Susan, it was a choice that was meant to be. She has dedicated herself to psychiatric nursing with a focus on suicide prevention. And she began her career as a psychiatric emergency suicide screener at Monmouth Medical's emergency rooms. And she taught for many years at University of Medicine and Dentistry. And you're going to see as we move through this episode all the connections or the dots between Jen, Susan, and I, all educators that came to this field of wellness and mental health and well-being. So she joined Manasquan High School in 2008. Can't believe it's that long ago. Wow. As a school nurse and an educator. And during her tenure there, the school faced a significant teenage suicide contagion, prompting Susan to take on multiple roles as the crisis coordinator, the anti-bullying specialist, a master lifeline suicide prevention trainer. She co-authored the Project Serve grant. She secured funding to develop a crisis plan. And she became nationally known for her, what she learned really the hard way on how to deal with teen suicide and how to create a competent community after such tragedy, which she did. And then she left and she worked for Mental Health of Monmouth County.
And
then she also worked as the clinical director for the Society of the Prevention of Teen Suicide. Jen and I really worked hard to convince her to retire from that.
We already had plans for Women of Wellness back then.
We had plans.
We were waiting for Susan.
Waiting for her. And then now she is really not retired. She's just doing more of the things that she loves. She pivoted, right?
Pivoted.
So she serves as the executive director of the Samaritan Center in Manasquan, and she works with Jen and I, and I'm going to let Susan and Jen, we're all going to talk about that. All right. Welcome, Susan.
Yes, welcome back, Susan.
I'm so glad to be here.
Yay. So lots of times people, when we do workshops or we go places or people talk to us, Cindy and I spend so much time showcasing other people that, every once in a while someone will go, well, how do you know each other? Like, how did we form this connection? So I always like to tell people how Cindy and I met because we met, and Cindy and Susan have a long history together. But the way that we met is, I was working in a school as guidance director in Monmouth County. Yeah. And one of my very first weeks, in walks this lady that and says, "Hi, I'm Cindy O'Connell. You have the worst job in the world."
Very true.
And at the time I was doing, being the testing coordinator and doing all this craziness. And I remember looking at her and going like, who is this woman? And like, what is she talking about? But as we got to know each other, we had very similar backgrounds and, who knew that she was right? Like where I was, it was the worst job in the world, being the testing coordinator and doing what I was doing in such an awful environment, negative people, negative space. It just wasn't right. But from there, we always talk about dots, all the little dots connected. And Cindy and I started working together. And after I left, I started working at Monmouth. And that's when I met you.
That's
because
right.
Susan was a guest speaker in my classroom to come in and talk about the contagion in Manasquan.
Yeah.
And as soon as I saw her, I was like, who's this lady? Like, wow. And I didn't realize that the two of you had such a long background.
Yeah. So Susan and I met, growing up in we didn't grow up in Manasquan. Our children
kids
grew up
did,
in
right?
Manasquan. So we met on this committee to institute a new playground in a space in Manasquan. And Manasquan really doesn't have a lot of space.
Yeah.
But so we were on this committee and we kind of connected and stayed in touch all these years. And I was like, this woman is somebody
She's
that
something
I
else.
want to work with.
Yep.
And
I
here
always
we
say
are.
that about Susan. When people say, "Oh, do you know Susan Tellone?" They're kind of like, I'm not sure." I'm like, "You would know,
You would know,
right? You would know."
Yes, that's
Because
so
people
true.
who do know, they're like, "I know her."
Yes.
Aw,
Yeah.
That's
So
not
she
very
definitely
nice.
stands
But
out.
I think the
Mhm.
energy was there from the minute we all met.
I know.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Can't deny it.
Cannot deny.
Yep.
Exactly.
So, and then before we move on to, we're going to talk about actually how we form Women of Wellness. Again, when we're always talking about other people, but right now I have Cindy's little bio. And so for those people who don't
not that
know,
little.
it's not that little. It's definitely not little. But I want to read this in case people don't really know, because they may listen to us and we never talk about ourselves on the
Right.
show. We're always showcasing other people. But just in case you don't know, this is a little bit about Cindy. So Cynthia O'Connell is, well, you say recently retired specialist professor, but she's not really retired either.
Yeah.
But she was a specialist professor from the Educational Counseling Department at Monmouth University, where she taught graduate courses and was a clinical coordinator for interns in school counseling, student assistance counseling, and student affairs, which, if you don't know, that's a lot of work already. So she's worked as a teacher, a coach, a school counselor, director of school counseling services, K-12 in New Jersey for over 30 years. She's also a certified yoga calm trainer, a RYT 200 yoga instructor, and received training in mindfulness-based stress reduction at Jefferson Marina Brand Integrative Medicine Center in Philadelphia. Cynthia works with children through adults in yoga and mindfulness techniques and yoga calm, and created the consulting company Mindfulness Connection in 2014. Wow, that's a long time too. She's presented at state and local conferences on yoga calm and was the keynote speaker at Monmouth County School Counselors Association Conference in March of 2018, and again last year.
Yes, with you, Jen.
Yes. This past year, she was a panelist for the Monmouth University Women in Leadership Symposium, the keynote speaker for the Society of Prevention of Teen Suicide Wellness Symposium. She's trained educators and students in school districts all over New Jersey and also in Iceland, which is incredible. She created and facilitated an 8-week program at Brookdale Community College with GED students from 16 to 24 years old. She's worked with the New Jersey Bar Association, running the Mindfulness Lounge at their conference, and presented workshops on meditation, which was so much fun. I got to do that with you too. Her mission is to educate, encourage, and connect youth through adults to develop a more mindful, compassionate attitude through breathwork, movement, meditation, and acceptance. So if you didn't know, she's doing amazing, amazing work every day. And we're so lucky that she's part of Women of Wellness.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
are.
So, when I met Jen, I thought to myself, this woman is doing the same work that I did, where it was a 24/7 job.
Burnout job.
Yeah, big time. So I was like, whether she wants it or not, I'm going to offer help to
I'm gonna help
her,
you.
to help her and introduce her to people. And because nobody really understood what I was going through, but I understood what she was. So I think that's, part of the way I tried to live my life. And, when I met Jen, I was like, this woman, I want to work with her.
Yep.
Anyway.
And Cindy is a connector.
Yeah.
She is a
Right?
connector.
She's a
Yes, such
connector.
All right. So Jen is a licensed professional counselor in the state of New Jersey. And so going back, Jen said to me, I'm quitting my job. And I'm
going to quit my job and start a private practice.
And start a
right?
private practice. And I was like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. You, do you have this in plan? Like, how are you going to do this? I'm, just quizzing her on her method. But she had it all down. And I will say, Jen is a visionary. She can look and say, I want to accomplish this. And then she has the knowledge and the skills to figure out how she's going to get there. So she's magic. But anyway, so she is an RYT 200 yoga instructor, Reiki master level practitioner, and a certified integrative nutrition health coach. She worked as an ESL teacher, and she worked in alternative education. She was a school counselor, director of school counseling services. She worked as an adjunct professor. I was like, I'm bringing her into the Monmouth program because she has a lot to offer for people that are going out in the field. In 2016, she created Mindset LLC, which offers in-person and telehealth private practice for behavioral therapy. She's a health coaching, Reiki, workshops on health and wellness. So her space is absolutely beautiful. And she wanted a huge space. I'm like, why do you need this big space? She said, because we're going to do workshops here. That's what I mean about being a visionary. Like, no one's going to stop her from what she sees as a possibility. Thinking ahead. So she has also worked with school districts, professional organizations throughout New Jersey, and has, has offered her services and volunteered for so many groups across the state of New Jersey. She's a lifelong athlete. She just finished a marathon in October. Goodness knows how she even found the time to train for it, but she did. She was a competitive swimmer. As an adult, she still practices yoga, marathon. Like when Jen and I go somewhere to do a presentation, like we went to the NADA in Indianapolis, wonderful town. We were there figuring out when we were going to work out, going for a long walk. So, we
were
definitely
there 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So she strongly believes in connecting the mind, body, and nature daily. Together, we wrote the Elevation Principles, and we are now co-host of the Mindset Connection podcast.
I know. Can you believe it? And Women of Wellness.
Women of Wellness.
Yes.
So Susan's going to talk about how that happened.
Yeah.
Well, I still remember the day when you said, we're going to meet, bring some women together in the community that are like dynamic women that are changing agents. And I was like, all right, I'm in on that, right? And then we go there and all these women from all different fields are there, but all with the same energy. And it really was energy. You remember that day?
Oh, I will never forget that day.
And all of a sudden we were, and
we invited them and they all said yes.
They all said yes.
Right.
They all showed up and this collective energy started. And we were talking about how people were struggling, right? In the community, the country, lots of things were going on that were creating stress for pretty much all of us. And we started talking about how can we help our community? What is in our control? And it was, our community. And we were all caregivers. We started talking about, that's when we came up with the idea of doing the grief work in the community. And everybody was like, how can I help? And I remember leaving there thinking, this is fuel. Like, this is why we do what we do. And when you get together with that kind of energy, it propels you so forward that I couldn't stop thinking about it. And we started meeting on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, we're like becoming like a group. And then the three of us would, like, at the end of the group, people would leave and we'd still talk. And we would just create more things that we could do in the future. And we became, I think I said it one day, like, we're like Women of Wellness. And we were like, That's it.
Yeah. We need a logo.
We need a.
That's it.
But when I think, and honestly, and it's the truth, like when I think about both of you, you bring me energy. And when you're in work that is drains your energy, you need to be around people that bring you energy. And that's what I think we do for each other. Is just we're always thinking about how we can help our neighbors, how we can help our community, how we can help the youth, the elders, all of the things. And I think that energy is contagious. And that's what happens in that room when we bring other people in. You can start to see them come up with ideas. And it's awesome.
I mean, so many things have happened since that group. And just a little shout out to Lynn Snyder, because I talked to Jen about it. I think we need to get all these women together.
Yeah. We know so many people.
We know so many women that are doing extraordinary things that are just
and that other people could benefit from,
Yes.
because some people don't even, some of the people we brought on our show were in that group and people had never heard of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
and and one of the things that made me think about it was that Jen and I had each other as a support. But who do these other people have
right.
that get it?
Yeah.
That get when you're giving and giving and giving, what are you? It's not that that's the reason, but you need to like figure out, okay, this is for me.
Yeah.
Right.
But it was a twofold thing, because we had all these women going, like, what can we do to serve the community? And every time when Cindy and I would host these in my office, we put out the list, and every month was different, right? The first big meeting, like, everybody came. And then after that, it was like, oh, this one can't come. Oh, this one can't come. This one can't come. Should we cancel? And we finally decided we're not canceling.
We're never canceling.
We don't care if there was 2 people there or 25. And
Because
every meeting that came, at the end, someone will go, this was just what I needed.
Exactly.
I don't think I missed a meeting. I don't think I did.
Well,
maybe
I think
one.
I did. I think I did kind of say,
One.
when can you come?
Yeah.
Well, we're trying,
maybe that's why.
Yeah, maybe that's why you didn't miss a meeting.
But really, we how many times that we have those meetings with a different collection of people where someone was like, I really needed this today.
Yeah, 100%.
I know.
But initially, I said to Jen, I want to run this by some people. And one of the people I ran it by was Lynn Snyder. Shout
Common
out
Ground.
to her.
Common Ground.
Shout out to her
our
because she's
podcast
just
as well.
incredible.
Yeah.
And Lynn, and I kind of love when I talk to Lynn and I ask her a question, she just waits. And there's a 10-second pause and she's thinking about it. And I'm like, oh boy, she didn't like this idea. And then she's like, I love it. So I was like, okay. So I said, all right. So now I'm like, reaching out. And honestly, that's where from that group, the Day of Wellness came about.
Right.
From, that we've held at the Braille Elementary School. I mean, it's Lynn and Sheila that are doing the work, but all these ideas surface from that. The Monmouth County, help me out here, Joe, ISOL.
The Wellness Symposium.
The Wellness Symposium that we all worked at.
with
These
the
things
schools.
came up from this group because everybody was like, what can we do together as a group?
Yeah. Because there's a collective concern.
I was just going to say, Susan, talk about why we need a collective community. It's so important.
Because really the truth of the matter is there's a collective concern, and the only way that people can heal in a community is collectively, right? It's never one person.
Mm-hmm.
People will give me credit, and I say that's not what happened. What happened was the whole community started to rise up. We started to see there was a problem in our community when, of course, children were dying by suicide. That's an example. But everybody came together, and it was like, how can I help? How can I help? What strength can I provide? And when you started to see that community rise up, that's when the healing began. And really, the truth be known, we started to ask the kids too as well.
Yes.
So it was from the youth to the elderly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really, when you look at how you make a change, it's never one person. It might be an idea, but together we do that. And I always say healing is in the collective, and we cannot be in silos, right? We have to look around us and say, what's close to us that we can grab that can bring us energy to get to the finish line? And there's so much around us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we found when we got the group together. It
Yes,
was like
there was so much.
Abundance of spirit, heart, intelligence, hard work, knowledge, wisdom, all those things.
Yeah. And things you could trade off. I remember sitting at the table and saying, oh, well, this person, you two should do something together.
Oh,
and you two should do something
and
together.
And they did.
Yeah.
People got
I
together.
don't know who knows about this topic?
Yes.
Oh, you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really,
No
really
question.
important.
How many workshops came out of that? Books came out of that?
Right.
I mean, it was just like amazing.
Yeah.
Really good stuff.
Yeah. And now it's like, it's not, sometimes when people hear about you, they just think like, oh, suicide prevention, and we need so much more than that. And, when we were talking about making women of wellness, like, we were always talking about meeting on Wellness Wednesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wellness Wednesdays. And because Cindy and I, when we were writing our book, we would meet on Wednesdays, and that's when we would do our work.
Mm-hmm.
But when we were talking about women of wellness, it's so much more than just suicide prevention.
Well, it is so much more.
Yes.
Because when you look at suicide, that's the end result of some mental health that has been neglected,
Yep.
right?
Right.
So when you really want to talk about prevention, you got to go way upstream and start talking about wellness
Mhm.
and how to keep people resilient, how to keep them healthy when they do have a hard time. How do we get back up? How do we stay, body, mind, and spirit connected? If we take care, and that's one of the reasons that I got so excited about working with you, because I'm in the twilight of my career. I've spent so much time talking about
I don't know about
suicide.
that.
But I do think that if we're really, really to make a change in our world, in our society, we have to be on the wellness side of things.
That's right.
That will
preventative
safeguard
side of things.
Yeah.
the end result
So,
of not taking care of your health.
my opinion is that many people are suffering. And it didn't matter what group that I was with, whether it was educators,
Mhm.
whether it was attorneys and judges or nurses or social workers or educators. It didn't matter.
Yep.
It didn't
doesn't
matter.
matter.
Kids,
Yep.
people were suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And they're looking for something. I don't know. Do you two feel?
Well, I see that in private practice. People come from all walks of life for therapy, and they all have the same stuff going on.
Yes, it's the same
the
thing.
same thing.
It is
Yeah.
the same thing.
And I see like an overwhelming, not lack, but there's not a focus on taking care of your health and wellness. We just talked about this before we started.
did.
Like who is making it a priority to take care of themselves?
Right.
Everyone
Right.
always says. Susan, you were just talking about working out. And
Yeah.
Working out,
working
even
out
for
for
15
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
A
Yeah.
lot of people will have that extreme where if I can't do an hour, then I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, or
Right.
if I
Or
can't
if I
go
fail,
to the gym,
the day is bad if I
if I
didn't
can't
get
go
it
to
done.
the gym, it's not.
Right.
I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
Yes,
exactly.
but like people have not embraced that self-care is not being selfish and it being a priority.
That's
And
the
that's
thing.
the hard
And
part.
we've busied ourselves,
Mhm.
we've really busied ourselves into exhaustion and not necessarily, and even when you go to the gym, do you do it body, mind, and spirit, or do you just do it body?
Mhm.
Exactly.
So there's that integration piece that I think really makes a difference.
Yep.
For everybody.
And I
Very
feel like
true.
that's what people want. When we've done workshops, especially when we've gone to, which you'll be going to, but Marianne's place, Sandhills Community Wellness Center,
Mhm.
Marianne Rappa was also a guest on our podcast. We have a group of people that come to every workshop that does not want to be talked at. Like they
Yeah,
want to
they wanna be
interact, they want to be heard, they want to participate, they want to be part of the workshop. And it's so nice that we're getting to see that this is what people want. They don't want to lecture. Like they don't want to
Yeah.
be lectured. They want to
Yeah.
learn skills. They want to learn techniques, and they want to be part of it.
And I think that when you said they want to be heard,
Yeah.
I think that is the piece that is what everybody's looking for. Someone please listen to me.
Yes.
Listen to me and
Hear me.
validate
Yeah, that
validate
I
what I'm
feel
going
feeling.
through,
Mhm.
because we all can validate what they're going through, but we don't take the time to really listen. People start talking about themselves as someone's telling them about their story. They jump in and start telling them about their
Exactly.
story.
Right.
And then that person is lost again.
Yeah.
And you just need a few more minutes to hold space to be heard.
Yeah. And we have an exercise for that we do with people to, the 3-minute talking exercise.
Mhm.
Come to a workshop, you'll see what it
That's
is.
right.
But people are always like amazed because when I say, did you feel heard when the other person never said a word? They're like, yes,
Yeah.
I did.
Yep.
Yeah.
I did. But I think it's also about your own self-awareness that I think people are not taking the time to do self-reflection and to sit quietly and to just be present with what is. They're always I don't want to think about that right now. I'm going to do this.
Well, sitting
You
in
know.
stillness is very hard and very scary for a lot of people.
Yes.
If you slow down your mind, and then you have to deal with reality.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. It's much easier to have the distractions.
Just be busy.
I'm going to take a rest from my job
Mhm.
and go on my phone and go on Instagram.
Mhm.
And that's going to be a rest, which is no rest.
Mm-mm.
Not for your mind, not for your body,
Nope.
not for your spirit.
Nope.
But it takes some convincing, not convincing. I feel like it's just opening up people's minds to other opportunities.
Yes.
It's an opportunity.
I think the thing that you two do that I think you do better than me is you walk the walk. You walk the walk.
Yeah.
I mean, you have taught me so much. You have slowed me down so much. I'm more reflective, more meditative. I've always been like that, But when I'm around you two, I want to do it more because I can see the results. There's a calmness. There's we've had some challenges on our way to New York City and we miss a train and we look at each other and
there was no train.
There was no train.
Right. There was
and we had a workshop for what, 300 people?
Yes.
Yeah.
With no train.
With no train. Going into New York City early in the morning, and everybody looked at each other and we started problem solving.
Yeah.
And we did, and we stayed
figured
calm.
It out, and we were on time.
And we were on time. We got there, and we got there calm, and we used that example of,
you said that to the crowd. I remember
right?
because nothing goes the way it's planned,
No.
and I think that's the expectations. I no longer have any expectations from anyone.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Because you will be disappointed. So,
I mean, so many times. How about when we were doing we had the big lecture and it was a Zoom and it was a big conference and my computer wouldn't work. And we were like, okay, pivot, but
we're just going to share.
But you walk the walk. We looked at each other and said, okay, we're sharing a computer, we're staying calm. Whereas other people would have really elevated it, created more stress than had to be done. We can't change it, right?
No.
We couldn't change it.
No.
And so I think that when people come to our workshops together, I think that they see that. They, and that it's not like we're talking at them. We're talking with them. We're listening to them. And we oftentimes pivot right in the middle of a workshop to say, you know what? They don't need this. They need this.
Yes.
And sometimes we'll say,
Many
Cindy, you go on and do your breathing because let's bring them down and help them because they're having trouble. They just came off of a tough shift or whatever. So that's what I love about working with the two of you is that you're real.
Well, people want to see it because sometimes they can't think that they could ever be as calm as Cindy is or know as much about meditation or know as much about nutrition and things that I know.
Right.
But I feel like we're not doing anybody a service if we're going to say, well, you should do this and you should do this, but I'm not going to do it.
Right.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
I'm not doing any of that. We have to be able to say, I did this, I tried this, and it works for me. It may not work perfectly for you, but like if you put the work in, you're going to see results. And that's also what I see. Many people want the quick fix. I tried meditation and it didn't work. How many times did you do it? Once? They're not willing to actually put the discipline in and put the time in and realize that it took you a while to get to this point. It's going to take a while for you to get back.
And that's the key word, discipline.
Yep.
But what the other thing that I think you bring to the table is no judgment. We were talking about that. No judgment. Like, if you're not there, fine. How do you get there?
Yep.
And if it takes you longer than it took me, great. That's up to you, but there's no judgment. The journey is individual, right?
Yes.
And my journey is not your journey, but the journey's worth trying. And it's always about betterment, right? Yeah. And resiliency. I know for myself, people always ask me, well, how do you bounce? How do you do suicide? Why do you do suicide work?
If you come to workshop with Susan, you will actually be talking about suicide and laughing your way through it because she is really funny.
But it's really about resiliency. Managing the worst of the worst of the worst. I've learned by watching those people. Honestly.
Yes.
So much of that they've taught me, and I've come in to teach them, and we've worked together to bring it to a higher level of, and still enjoy life, even in the worst of the moments, recognizing that. And that's really resiliency, bouncing back. How do you get back up? How do you wake up in the morning and, go through the day? You have other responsibilities. So people do it all the time.
And this is so you're seeing Susan Tellone in action right now.
That's right.
Because yesterday I had a conversation with her and she said, what are we talking about? Should I prepare anything? I said, you? No, you don't have to prepare anything. Because, she does what we call channeling. It just happens.
It just
and
comes
sometimes
to you.
she's like, she'll say to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, repeat that. I want to write that down. And she's like, I don't know what I said.
I can't remember.
I can't remember. But, and then it's up to Jen and I to remember.
Yeah, we came with the pens.
Yeah,
we did come.
Do I need a pen?
We give a pen just in case Susan says something, we have to write it down. But that is what, our workshops that we've been formulating, we have quite a few. We actually met last week and made a list of all the things that we are doing. And there's a lot on a lot of different topics. So, one of the hopes that we're going to be doing is a summer wellness workshop series in my office.
Right.
So we're going to be putting those dates out shortly, but we're hoping that we can offer multiple workshops on all different topics, and
Right.
hopefully people will find something on the list that go, oh, that speaks to me, and
Yeah.
I want to come in for that.
Yeah.
So one of the workshops that we came up with, here's the title, Positive Action and the Science of Well-Being. So it has the acronym, it's the state of New Jersey. We have a lot of acronyms
Yes,
here.
that no one remembers.
But it's PASWB. So I have my notes with me because I was trying to make sure I remembered. So P is for positive emotion. And positive emotion doesn't mean that you're faking being positive. It means that you're so present that you actually notice, wow, look at that sky. It's such a gorgeous blue. That's a positive moment in the day.
Mhm.
But we're talking about when you're in your work day too. But just, I had an interesting conversation with someone in the restroom, whatever it is. But positive moments happen in everyone's day.
Mhm.
Do we pay attention?
Mhm.
And then A is for accomplishment, celebrating small wins. I think it's you have 80,000 thoughts and 60%. I'm getting this wrong because every time I look at the data, it's always different, are negative
Mhm.
and repetitive.
Yep.
So, we have to come reminding ourselves. And then S is for support, staying connective, the collective community. W, what else? Wellness.
Mhm.
That if you take care of yourself, the rest becomes a little bit easier.
Yep.
And then finally, B is for being. You matter. You matter. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah. And we need them because, Susan will talk more about this, but like life is bringing us, like we need to be around those people that bring us energy because there's so many things that are draining us out every day. And maybe you can talk more about that.
It's so true. If you look at what's happening on the national level, right? And so many people feel out of control. I can't control that. I'm not watching the news. I can't even look. And my anxiety levels are so high. You hear these kinds of things. So I always say to people, like, bring it down to what you can control, right? And what you can control is right around you. Who are you being with? Who's bringing you energy? Are they draining you? Are they bringing you energy? Ask that question. How do I feel when I walk away from that person? Do I feel better? Like that's what I really think connected us is like, I want more of that,
Right.
and
right.
when you look at how you construct your life, even for children, like they're going to play with kids that make them have fun. Same with adults. We're going to play with people that make us laugh. We're, so looking at what brings me energy, but then also there are things in life that drain me. So if those drainers are there and I can't change them, and whether it be the news or not, I'm going to minimize it. I can control how much I'm going to look at it, or where I'm going to get my news from. Maybe I don't want to look at it. Maybe I just want to hear a little bit. I give 5 minutes and that's it. But it's all about balance. Taking what comes in and really energizes your soul and minimizing what drains your soul. But there are so many natural drainers that we have to actually actively work on energizers. We have to think about, who do I want to have lunch with today? Because I'm going to have a good lunch versus,
I don't want to see that person.
Complainer, where do I want to walk? Do I need to look at the ocean today, or can I just walk my neighborhood and see my friends? What do I need? It's all about how much. And I think that's really when we think about thinking about yourself, our workshops. When people look at our workshops, they may say, I don't have time for that.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't have time for that. But I say, what about those workshops could bring you energy? What about those workshops could make you feel better? And so that you can be present in a more true sense for your family, for your children, for your friends. Because if you don't fill up your own tank, you can't go far. And people are taking your energy. But if you don't fill it up, you don't have it to give. So that's why those workshops, it's really not a choice. You really should just come because it's so much good for yourself.
And we've been doing these, like our summer series is obviously open to everyone, but we've also done, maybe you can talk about some of the corporate things that we've done for some of these. Actually, those were your connections that we've started working with several businesses.
Well, when we we went into New York City for Summit One, we've looked at lots of different companies, because when you really look at how much time people spend at work, right? creating that environment that's supportive at work can be a change agent for how people feel about life because they're there so much
and
of
it's
the
not
time.
always, not every business has something like this.
Right.
Yeah.
And if more businesses started to look at the wellness of their employees, they would, keeping people on for much longer periods, there would be less resignations, there'd be less burnout, there'd be more joy. And I think that people are recognizing, if I can keep my staff positive, I can keep my production higher, right?
Most definitely.
And I can retain employees longer, and everything seems to click more. I mean, it's just like if you have a supportive network at work, you're going to be happier when you show up.
No question.
And it's true. At Summit One, when we did that, we did a section for the managers and then one for the staff members, and they were all so receptive.
Oh,
and
definitely.
So
and
receptive
grateful.
and grateful that we were there.
And I think that what sets us apart from there's a lot of people doing this work, but we offer people sustainable techniques that they can put into their daily routine for 2 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever amount of time that
Something
you
that you
have,
can actually do.
something you can actually do.
Yeah.
Because that's what we found was that if I said to you, oh, you have to spend 2 hours, it's like homework for kids.
They've already
They're
shut
already,
you out.
they're
Whatever.
already not talking about it. But if
60
I say-
days to a new
I say,
habit.
do you have 2 minutes in the morning? Do you have 2 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you do.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to feel better and feel like your mind and your body and your spirit are connected? Then do this.
Yeah. And we've done that. Like we've done breathwork techniques where we've said, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do something. And you can see people going, oh.
And
then
they're
we'll do
like,
it and go, that took 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you feel better? Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And then that same person will come up to me at the end and say, when you first started talking, I thought, what is this hippie crap?
Yep.
And then I was like, oh, I feel better.
Mm-hmm. We watched expressions change too, where you can tell people will come in like this, like staring out the window. And then at the end, they're like, wow, that was really good.
Yeah.
And when you look at people in management, even, managers get promoted not necessarily with education or training on these skills. All of a sudden, they're in a position of management and they're like, how do I bring my team together? Yeah. We're going to have a morning meeting, but how do I utilize this 5 minutes effectively so that I send my team out motivated and energized and they come back to me with, openness and I can validate and listen. How do I do that? They're not taught that. And that's, I think, I think that's why we're hired, because they don't even know how to teach them that. So they're like, bring it in from the outside. And usually when we leave, they're going to change the way they have their meetings. They're going to change their morning routines so that it's more effective.
And we did see that when we did the series for RISCO.
Yeah.
That they did change. They reported back and told us that they changed the way they were doing their things.
Much better.
Yeah. All right. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about our final question since we only have a few minutes left. Mm-hmm. I know.
And before we do our final questions, let's talk about what if somebody here is going, who are the women of wellness? Where can I have a business, or I'd like to come to a workshop. Like, how can people find us?
Right, oh my goodness.
So we have Cindy and I, you can always look up our websites. We both have websites.
Susan
They're always,
Susan
also does.
Mm-hmm.
They're all in the show notes. And there are links on all of our individual websites to our Women of Wellness Collective website too. So we are also on Instagram. We have the same thing. We all three of us have our own Instagram accounts, and we also have a Women of Wellness account. So you can find us there, and that's how we will be posting all of our information, especially for the Summer Wellness Series, which will take place in my office.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Final questions for Susan.
Final questions. Well, I think we're going to go around,
and we're going to do them all.
Do it.
Because Susan was like, I think I'm going to change my answer from last time I was here.
How do you view failure?
Well, I do really view failure as inevitable and an opportunity, an opportunity for change. Really, you hit bottom. There's nowhere to go but up, and we all hit bottom.
Exactly.
So, it's okay.
It's okay. Yeah. Same for me. It's definitely it's a life lesson. I always go. What am I going to learn from that?
Yeah.
Yes. And then how can I approach this differently?
Exactly.
That's
what
what
can I do
I
differently?
mean, as lifelong learners, all three of us, like we come into a meeting and we're like, well, maybe me.
Yeah.
I got to show you this.
Yes.
Because this has me pumped up. What gets you excited? So I
Yeah.
failed at this, but I can do this.
Yeah.
All right. So, is there something you want to change?
The last time I said, I said
you said
nothing.
no.
Nothing. And then I started thinking about it. I said, are you kidding me? Like, I want to change so many things.
Well, how about focusing on one?
One thing. When you were talking earlier about, meditating and quiet time and peaceful time, when you're a woman of wellness, I need to do more of that. I really do need to do more of that. I have carved out time to work out and I have carved out time to read, but I have more to
good
do.
for you.
Yeah, I have more to do in the quiet space.
That's good.
We're always looking at what I want to learn guitar. I want to, learn keyboard. I love music, but I really need more quiet time. And what I've decided is I need to pencil it in on my calendar, like 15 minutes, like a meeting.
That's right.
Because I never miss a meeting with somebody else, but I could miss a meeting with myself.
Oh,
It has
exactly
to be scheduled.
right.
Things that are scheduled are things that get done.
Exactly. And, just a little word to the wise. I would say to you, 15 minutes is a long time. So even if you started with 2 and then you're successful and you say, Susan, what a good job.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll take
so
that.
start with 2. Why not?
All right.
So I'm going to change it up here. What do you think your strengths are?
My strengths, I'm always looking for the next thing. That's where the visionary thing comes in. I think it's a good thing. I'm always thinking, okay, this is great, but what can I do next? So I think that I'm definitely disciplined and I'm willing to put hard work in.
What about you?
I think I'm an empath, meaning I'm empathic. Like I literally can't help it. I feel things all the time that I wish I didn't, but I do. And I think I can act on them in an effective way. Like I can feel other people's struggles. I just can.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah, you definitely can.
Yeah.
And I mean, in fact, you and I were at a party and I mean, there was a band and you walked in and you sat next to me and you said, you knew that my friend was dying and you knew.
I felt it.
You knew. She felt it. She said, I feel it, Cindy. And other people that I had been around all day hadn't felt that from me. So yeah, definitely. What else? What else is 3 most important? So give me 2 more because you have lots of strengths.
I think I listen well, and I think I laugh well. I have
You
fun.
do.
I have fun.
Yes, you have fun. Yeah, definitely.
All right, what are yours?
All right.
Last
Mine
minute.
are definitely a discipline and definitely a connector. Like I
you
just
are.
like, and I also like kind of, I just look at a person and I'm like, oh, you should do this next.
You are.
Like you could do this. And I think that I'm just really curious. So I will try things that maybe, yeah. But one thing that I definitely want to bring more into my life is more courage.
Okay.
More courage. Yeah.
We'll work on that.
Yeah. So anyway.
So
All
this
right.
is it. So
Yeah.
this is Women of Wellness. If you're interested in us, you can find us on social media or on the websites. Stay tuned for our summer wellness workshop series, which will be in my office in the Belmar Spring Lake area. And we can't wait to see you. And like Susan said, make it a priority. You have to go. You definitely learned something. And Cindy always has our words of wisdom.
So remember to do hard things and remember to pause, breathe, and then respond. Be less reactive. Have a beautiful day,
Yes.
everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.